Hey guys, it's Rodimus Primal. I am back with another video, and today IGN has just released some official images of some Earthrise toys that have gotten a lot of people excited. And this toy right here, Takara Legends Arcee, just might be replaced. So sit back, relax, make sure you subscribe to the channel, and let's transform and roll out. Consider supporting the channel on Patreon or becoming a channel member today. Okay, so as I had said in the intro there, is that IGN released some full images of some of these Earthrise toys, and if you're seeing this image right here, it's probably getting you excited because Scorponok is coming, baby. And not only Scorponok, but Lynx, Arcee, and the Decepticon weaponizer Fast Track. Now, if you're not familiar with who Fast Track is, Fast Track was actually one of the vehicles that came with G1 Scorponok. And if we take a look at the images here, the first one I want to bring up specifically and on purpose is Arcee. And the reason why is because if you saw my video when I talked about her masterpiece reveal, I had shown off my Takara Legends Arcee figure. And I had also talked about how the Earthrise toy was going to be a little bit more posable and was going to have a removable backpack that turns into a hoverboard. And you can see it here, and it looks good. It really does look good. I mean, the only thing that I can probably complain about is maybe some of the color choices, because you see her feet are supposed to be white with gray around her ankles, and she's kind of supposed to have like gray like on that like one section there, and maybe like a red label there or something like that. These are just like minor nitpicks and stuff like that, but otherwise the toy looks fantastic, and I'm sure that Toy Hacks is gonna add some flair to it as well. But it seems she just comes with one blaster, which is kind of disappointing because the ones that come with the Takara Legends and the Hasbro Thrilling 31 have a bigger blaster. But I do think that from the looks of it, her hands are better, because this one has the issue where her hands are actually very brittle, and if you play with it too much, it can actually break. Some people have actually said that their hands on their Arcee have broken, and I'm wondering how these hands are going to turn, because this is a CGI render, so it's not necessarily the finalized image or even the final color choices that they're going to use. Because if you remember, when they revealed Earthrise Starscream at New York Comic Con, the CGI render had red on on his chest, but it turned out to be gray painted over, and Optimus had gray fists instead of blue fists, and the Earthrise toy is out in shelves now, and it has the proper colors. So I'm not too worried about like paint apps, because I'm sure people are going to point out a lot of this to the people at at Hasbro at Toy Fair over this weekend. And when you see renders like this, it's not the finished figure. It's just basically the render. And her car mode looks really good too. In fact, if anything, I would say, like, you almost wonder, why are you going to spend $145 to get the masterpiece Arcee, and unless you like the proportions on it, or if you don't like the hollow bits, this version looks to be the one to take home, because a normal deluxe size Arcee, great looking car mode, great looking robot mode. And if you don't already have this one, or if you kind of like me, you kind of want to replace this one with something maybe a little bit better, this is probably the one to get. And we're talking about Fast Track here. Fast Track looks really good as well. I think that as far as a robot mode is concerned, I mean, it matches obviously the G1 toy. And of course, he's a weaponizer, so he's going to be able to come apart in pieces, just like Cog, just like Six Gun. And I wonder if they're going to end up doing, I think they did. That's right, they did it with Brunt. And I wonder if they're going to do it with any of the other, maybe Metroplex's bits, because I know Scamper and Slammer didn't come out for, I think it was, Scamper came with Metroplex, but Slammer didn't come out, at least as far as the what was it, the Titans Return? Or was that Combiner Wars that did Metroplex? And he came with Scamper with a different color head, but he didn't come with Slammer, I think. And so they're probably going to end up doing Slammer. I'm also curious if this might be a pre-tool for Roller. And the reason why I say that is because, I mean, take a look at his vehicle mode, and it kind of does remind you a little bit of Roller. Maybe they might, remold it slightly and make it, be so this way, because Optimus Prime doesn't come with anyone in his trailer. So you're wondering, okay, well, what happened to Roller? Right? Did he become Apex Armor? As my one video says, or is it something else? Now, they mention in the article, in the IGN article, that Fast Track will be able to transform into a spear. And what's important about that spear is the fact that, well, first of all, here's Scorponok. And Scorponok looks amazing. He looks fantastic. In fact, if anything, I think this version of Scorponok is going to be the one, is like, finally, we're going to get like a G1 Scorponok, and I'm hoping he's to scale. Scorponok, the original G1 Scorponok toy, is only about as tall as Metroplex or Trypticon, and Fortress Maximus is huge. So they don't scale together. I'm hoping this one does. This one can face off against like Omega, can face off against Metroplex, can face off against Fortress Maximus. He also has his shield. And if Fast Track is sold separately, transforms into his spear, they're going to have to remold him into Black Zarak. Now, if you don't know who Black Zarak is, if you watch Master Force, he is the rebuilt and reprogrammed Scorponok turned into, he's all black and he has like a red helmet and he had a spear. So that means that Fast Track was made so that they can do, Black Zarak. And if they don't do it in the US, they're going to do it in Japan. It'll end up being like a Takari, Tomy Mall, or exclusives or something like that. And it'll cost like double the price of what this version of Scorponok will be. But this one looks fantastic. He looks awesome. I think finally we're getting like, Scorponok, giving him justice. And I know some people are like, oh, well, I would rather have the Energon Scorponok. And I'm like, are you kidding? I'd rather have a huge Scorponok sitting on my shelf personally. And his Scorpion mode is awesome looking. You can take a note here that, because the G1 toy, the Scorpion head itself was kind of like a seat for the Headmaster to sit in. But here, the head itself actually transforms into the Scorpion head, very much like Snapdragon or Apeface transforms into the head of the other mode, since it does have an animal mode. And the Scorponok, the Scorponok mode or Scorpion mode is it looks great. I think it looks fantastic. Now, taking a look at his city mode, you're going to take note that his Headmaster is a cartoon accurate representation of the Headmaster's Scorponok or Zarak, because it's weird. Because in Japan, the Headmaster himself was called Zarak. No, it was called Scorponok, and the battle fortress that transformed into a scorpion and transformed into the Transtector. I have a hard time not saying that T. That he transforms into the head of. The Transtector was called Mega Zarak. So it's kind of like a confusing name swap. So really, I'm just going to go by the American names. This is basically the Headmaster's version of Zarak, with a really good, city mode. The only thing about the city mode is that, judging by this size, I'm hoping that his scale matches Fortress Maximus. Again, it's something to do with the fact that the original, Scorponok toy was very small. But you can see Wheeljack and Cliffjumper and Hoist. I don't know why they have Autobots riding on top. Maybe they just don't have Decepticons yet to ride on Scorponok that would look good, because they got to get, Run Amok, and I'm hoping Runabout, or one way or the other. They're doing Runabout, and they're doing Run Amok. No, I always get those two names confused. As for his head mode that you can see here, again, it's a cartoon accurate representation of the Headmaster's anime version of Zarak, and it looks great. It looks fantastic. I also like I don't mind the scorpion, bits like on the side of his arm there, because that's kind of like part of his transformation. Now, the other thing is that his head itself does transform into a cartoon accurate rebirth version of Zarak, which also matches his, Headmasters from the Marvel Comics. So we're getting like the Scorponok for like all seasons, basically. And I think that's fantastic. I think the only thing that this small head is probably lacking might be a little Decepticon symbol with some detailing on his chest. But other than that, looks great. Looks awesome. Now, I know some of you have really been waiting for this one right here. We've got Skylynx. And remember we only saw the small images of Scorponok and Skylynx, and I thought that they were possibly, some fill-in images, and they didn't look that official. Well, the official images of Skylynx here, he looks great. I love his shuttle mode. I love the secondary, portion on the bottom there. It's like kind of like the actual carrier on the bottom. And it looks like they're getting some official licensing, because it seems to be that NASA is, the Magnificence is, I don't know if Magnificence is a throw at, Skylynx's personality, because if you know anything about Skylynx's personality, is that he's very full of himself. So calling him the Magnificence is absolutely hysterical. But if they are getting official licensing from NASA, that's really, really cool. And I want to show this to you guys as well. This is his base mode, and it does separate into two pieces. And the two pieces, basically his space shuttle mode, obviously like is on the top, very much like Astro Train, which again, I only have Henkei and Classics Astro Train. So I'm very, very excited to see, Astro Train, but as well as Skylynx. I like the fact that you have here a really good looking base for his shuttle to take off in. And, it looks like it might have some like defenses with like laser blasters, and the ramp would be cool for Micromasters to be able to fit in there. I'm wondering if, and they didn't make any mention of this, and I'm sure they will at Toy Fair, is that you'll probably be able to store some Micromasters in there, especially if they're going to release any of the Astro vehicles that were part of the the Micromaster combiners, so they might be able to fit inside Skylynx. So he's probably going to be like a carrying shuttle for them. And the bottom section becomes a Lynx. The reason why he's called Skylynx is because the two pieces, one is like the Skybird and one is the Land Lynx. I'm making up a name there, but this is his Lynx mode, and it looks just as good as I would have imagined. And I'm also very glad that they chose to make his Lynx mode separately. The Combiner Wars toy made the Lynx his Combiner, torso, whereas like the bird itself was the quote-unquote robot mode, and I didn't really care for that. I'm glad that they're actually going the extra mile with Skylynx here and giving us the separate Lynx mode. And the bird mode looks just as good. I like the bird mode. It reminds me very much of the original toy. I had the original toy growing up. He eventually broke, and I do have a Takara reissue that I still have mint and sealed box that I've never opened up, and I've heard that they've changed some things on the inside. But this looks fantastic. Like, the bird wings are very, very articulated in comparison to the original bird wings, especially the fact they can kind of tilt up. They actually like have like a feathered effect on them, and the laser blaster being the laser blaster was on the original, and of course he has the shuttle windows as his eyes, which is a really interesting choice, but it was something that the original toy did. I'm sure that this new toy will not have the motorized walking gimmick, which the bird and the Lynx can combine to form Lynx, and this is the combined form, as you can see, and I'm hoping that he is big enough to face off against Power of the Prime's Predaking, because that's how big Lynx is supposed to be. He's supposed to be big enough to be able to go toe-to-toe with Predaking. And if you're a Prime fan, you only know Predaking as like the one lone Predacon. Predaking was the combined form of the 5 Predacons, and that Power of the Primes toy is a really cool toy. I wish I had gotten my hands on it, but Lynx looks just as great, and I'm sure the two of them are going to have some epic battles for people who actually have them both. And I didn't get a chance to show this to you guys before, but the smaller head will be able to fit on the inside of Scorponok when he's in Scorpion mode, since I'm guessing the way that the head actually combines in there, it's part of how he transforms. All in all, I think these toys look great, and I am very, very excited about these reveals. I really want to get my hands on this Arcee, even though, again, that I have Takara Legends Arcee. I think this one might be the one to replace it. I do wish that she was a headmaster. That would have been a pretty cool gimmick, but I'm sure cost prohibitive for whatever reason. And I'm hoping the hands are a lot better than Takara Legends, or Hasbro, Thrilling 30 Arcee. But other than that, I'm excited for every single one of these toys. I think they all look great, and I look forward to the reveals over this weekend with Toy Fair. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you think of all these toy reveals? Of course, leave your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to thumbs up this video and subscribe. And check out my other videos as well. I've got a lot of videos that I have planned to make over this weekend, as well as a brand new Transformers discussion video coming very, very soon. So stay tuned for all that. And as always, guys, until next time, till all are one.